Today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the DC Collectibles DC Comics Icons, figure number 23, Batgirl. Batgirl has a total of 12 pieces, including her very own Batgirl cycle. Also comes with several interchangeable heads, well, 2 interchangeable heads in total. Her cape, her grapple gun, and it also looks like she might have a cell phone or a communicator in there as well. Side of the box features the Batgirl of Burnside, DC Comics Icons. Then the back of the package also shows the advertisement there for Darkseid, which I'd love to get my hands on that. Can't wait for it. The figure is designed by Ivan Rice. It's sculpted by Paul Harding and Adam Rose. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at the DC Comics Icons, figure number 23, Batgirl. There's more heading away, guys. Don't go anywhere. Getting the DC Icons Batgirl out of packaging, you get yourself an instruction guide showing you how all the accessories go into the figure itself. The interchangeable heads as well as the interchangeable swappable capes. Also shows you how to attach the bike to the display stand, all of which I'll show you during this review. Let's put that to the side. Now, as you can probably see too, there's a lot to cover in this particular release, this deluxe release set, so let's start with it now. Batgirl is a little bit of a smaller figure by comparison. Now, generally the DC Icons figures as a whole are small to start off with, but even then, on top of it, Batgirl is a smaller scaled figure. One of the only examples I have actually right at my disposal right now, but one of the better examples, we can bring in the Joker. And you can see how Batgirl stacks up against the Joker, who is much taller than her. And this Joker is a good gauge as to a regular sized DC Icons figure. Yes, Batgirl is a little bit smaller than him. Okay, so we'll put that Joker to the side here. Let's look at the figure first, and then we'll kind of just go down and run through the list of accessories. The face is pretty good. It doesn't feel like it's got some oomph to it. Joker, by comparison, you know what, I'll bring him back, why not? Joker, by comparison, has oomph. Maybe it's just the coloring that they put into his face, but it seems like he's got just more standing out, I think, in his sculpt. Batgirl has a good sculpt, but I feel like the paint isn't doing it proper justice. It's got a very subtle skin tone, and maybe amongst that, the coloring of the lips and the coloring of the eyes just don't stand out as well. An alternative, though, and probably more so for displaying her with her bike, she does have an alternate head that's got her hair blowing backward, as opposed to the hair, as you can see, running down the side of her shoulder. Just remove that. That hair wasn't part of it. But yeah, there's the two different head sculpts. Don't know if I wish that actually the eyebrows weren't as orangey as they ended up being. If they were maybe a darker color to her hair, now her hair is still a version of that orange, just darker, but the eyebrows almost get lost a little bit in the mix. The rest of the body is her more current designed outfit, primarily a purple, which very much harks back to the Batgirl from the Adam West Classic series as well. Very much reads to me like that. I like the striping down the side of the leg, breaks up a little bit of that purple. The yellow is very nicely done, although you probably will see it here. For some reason, the cuffs or the folded parts of the glove seem a different yellow. I don't know why, but for some reason it's a different yellow than the hands. The hands, the belt, the emblem, and the shoes, the boots, are all the same yellow. For some strange reason, even this one isn't as bad, but this one glove here is a much lighter yellow, almost as if they didn't add a second coat. That may not be for every figure, that's probably just my particular figure. Laces are done in nice dark black, as well as the black soles on the undersides of her boots. Yes, it is a good figure all around. It's just very small. Pluses, good sculpt. I like the paint in the purple, and the yellow for the most part is good. Negatives, though, the yellow omitted from the glove folded, the folded part of the glove part of the figure. And I feel like the face could have been just a little bit more vibrant. But as a whole, I do like the figure. Let's look at her accessories, and then we'll kind of swap her interchangeable parts out, and then we'll have a look at her bike. That hopefully sounds all like a plan. The hardest part with this figure is just trying to get her to stand. Okay, so let's have a look at her accessories. Well, she comes with a cape, and we've already looked at the aforementioned head. Those all swap out when we get her on her bike. So we need to see that. I mean, the cape is roughly about the same idea, but as you'll see when we change it, it's going to stick out more so this way as opposed to running flat against her back. Batgirl also comes with a grapple gun, which is a completely different color, an acceptable color, but a completely different color than everything in this figure. Like the figure, the body, the bike, even the display stand. This stands out like a sore thumb, but it's passable for me. I mean, it's still kind of a goldish yellow color. The hook could have been also a different color as well, but all around not too many complaints there. She also comes with a very small, what I can only gauge to be a small cell phone or portable communication, like a little iPhone sort of thing. I'm surprised actually I didn't drop that. And then she also comes with a series of interchangeable hands. One's for holding her accessories. This one looks like it'd be more primed for holding her phone. Get that in place there. Yeah, see, it does holds the phone well. And then she has a couple of other interchangeable hands as well. A total of 4 interchangeable hands. So then we'll put those to the side. Try not to lose those. Now let's look at the bike. Now, you don't get a lot of deluxe figures from the DC Icons figure wave. Really, we didn't get very many at all. One of the ones that stand out to me was the Green Lantern Hal Jordan, which, if you remember, came with all those energy constructs. It's nice that they're branching out and not just giving us straight standalone figures, that they're now starting to think vehicles as well. And Batgirl is a perfect candidate for a vehicle included with a figure. I mean, what better way can you get with a figure than Batgirl's Bat Cycle or Batgirl Cycle? It's painted in a very nice purple, complementary to the purple that she's got in her outfit, but a different purple altogether. It's more of a metallic purple with some nice accent points of the lighter, almost lavender metallic purple there as well. It's got some breakups there of the silver, as well as in the interior of the bike. By interior, I mean like deep in there, in the recessed areas of the bike. You can see nice metallic silver in there as well as some extra gold. The view screen, I think, could have been an opportunity to add something in there as opposed to just being a straight black screen. They've colored in areas in like blue and red, little buttons and knobs and stuff like that. But the view screen could have had something on there, maybe like a green screen with like, you know, a grid, little dots or something where it wasn't just a straight out black screen. The bike does move, but not very much. That's about all you can really do from it. This much and about that much back and forward. I also looked at the bike to see if there was any sort of kickstand. And through my venturing into looking for a kickstand, I couldn't find anything. I thought this could have lowered down. Obviously, these won't come down. At least I don't think they'll come down. I don't want to force them. So there's really no way to display the bike straight up, unless you kind of had her straddling the bike, you know. But that's not an easy task either. A lot of times when you put her on the bike, the figurette's legs should really be bent for it to properly sit on the bike. Then comes along the display stand, which we'll move everything out of the way here. The display stand gives you the opportunity to display the bike, but I wish that the bike could have been sort of a kickstand, something on here where you could have just displayed the bike without this. I like this, but I wish that the bike could have been displayed without it. Even if they had given us like a little clear stand that just had a little notch, and it could have just held the back of the bike and then just give us like a little circular base, you know, just something that kind of clamped it to hold it and keep it standing straight up. It would have been very minimal. It would have hid in the back of the bike so you wouldn't have seen it, but you could have still displayed the bike without having to use this. This is still good. I still do like it, but again, hopefully you know what I mean. So we can go ahead and take the bike, and it just basically mounts itself into these rubber portions, these rubber sculpted pieces, and you get something that looks like this. It doesn't seem like it's poseable. It does hinge a little bit, where you can angle the bike down if you want to kind of have a little bit more dynamic, or you can angle it straight up, or you can angle it this way. But, you know, it serves the purpose it needs to serve. Again, I just would like a little bit of a clear stance, something that if you didn't want to display it like this, you just certainly didn't have to. So let's put the bike right over there. Let's go ahead and go back to Batgirl here, and let's look at her poseability. Then we'll swap out the interchangeable parts. Then we'll put her on her bike. When it comes to her poseability, Batgirl's head is on a ball joint, so it rotates up and down. Over the course of moving her head around, you might find yourself popping the cape off, and there's actually just a clip, a little peg on the back there that clips to the hole right there at the back of the cape. Hopefully you can see it there. And that just clips over. But when you move the hair, it pushes this right off. So maybe we'll just leave it off for the time being. The head, again, does rotate all the way around and up and down. Mileage may vary depending on that. The shoulders hinge out. A rotation all the way around on the shoulders. A rotation on the bicep. A double bend elbow. A rotation on the glove, as well as a hinge back and forth. Then you get the upper torso crunch on Batgirl. You also get a secondary crunch closer to her waist portion of the figure. This utility belt, by the way, is a loose piece. A smart move, just kind of stays out of the way when you want to move the figure. Figure's legs go forward and back and out. She has a double hinge on the knee, almost to the point where she can touch the back of herself. And she also has a rotation in the boots and a hinge on the foot. So there is Batgirl. Maybe while we're at it, we'll also change out her hands. We'll just pop the hands out, come out very, very easily. And let's find corresponding hands. Very long peg also, I might add, on the hand plugs. Plug those into place. Take the other one, plug that into place. And now we can either have her holding her grapple gun, or we'll try to get her to hold the handlebar area of her bike. So let's go ahead and unpeg the head here, like that. It looks a little jarring when you take her head off because the neck seems longer than it should, but it all kind of comes together in the end. Go ahead and replace it with the longer, or the hair extended head. Just wiggle that on until it gets into place. Yeah, the neck, won't lie to you, it does look a little on the long side, but again, when you factor in the cape, now you can either have the cape down, or if you want to be displaying her in the bike, take the little peg hole, line it up to the peg, slide it in, and just kind of adjust the corresponding, there's like little clips, little clips right there that go into her shoulder, but they don't clip in well, especially with this cape. You'll find yourself a lot of times with the little gaps where the cape should attach to the shoulders, they simply don't. Then you can go ahead and bring the bike back over. We'll just bend the legs here. One good thing with being the Batgirl being superposable as well, the DC icon figures, you know, getting her on the bike is not a problem. And from there, we want to just kind of wiggle the hands, get her hands onto the handlebars. Pardon my arm here for a second. Then I find the easiest is once you get her on the handlebars, then just do a lot of the adjusting with the legs. And you can bring this up as well. I mean, you don't have to have her riding the bike necessarily. You could just have her sitting on the bike in a pose. There we go. And you can get Batgirl riding her bike. It's a pretty effective overall look to the figure, and I like that you can get her on the bike. Again, with this swiveling back and forth, you can get a little extra going on there as well. You can have her actually skidding out. Again, it's a really cool look. I'm not knocking the fact that This is it's not something that bothers me. I just wish, again, there was a clear clip that if you want to just have her sitting on the bike without this, you could have done that as well. But you have to admit, though, that's a pretty cool way to display a normal figure, like these icon figures, which normally for all the other releases that we've gotten with them, there hasn't been a lot of this going on. You know, while I do like displaying figures like this, displaying figures like this too, that's a very cool thing to get as well. And it's very effective, I have to admit, all around. To no surprise, I'm sure, that the icon figures, when it comes to the Deluxe Batgirl, she's a little bit more expensive than the traditional DC icon figures. Normally when you get a figure like this, at least, now I'm only going by my comic store prices and the prices of what I find these in stores. DC icons in comic book stores, at least in my area, these guys run about, I want to say about $24, $25. Batgirl, I think, was closer to about a $50, I want to say $60 price point. You may say that's rather high, but then again, you're factoring in the motorcycle. And unfortunately, just like the cost of figures are going up anyways. So is it worth it? If you are collecting the icons figures, absolutely. But, you know, again, you really have to look at the overall pricing of figures. I know I get comments down below, you know, a figure like that, so super expensive. A figure like this should only be about $30. You know, granted, that be the case, these are smaller figures after all. But you really have to factor in, too, that other figures, such as Marvel Legends, and even Marvel Universe figures, those are figures in stores here in Canada are about $15 to start off with. Here you get a bike, you get a posable figure, you know, that's, well, it's not quite, it's more like a closer to 5-inch sized figure. You also get a bike and you get the display stand. I like the figure. I admit the prices of figures are a little bit more expensive nowadays than what they used to be, but with Batgirl, at least you get some bang for your buck. Again, you can find these at your local comic book stores, along with the other DC icon figures that you see on this channel. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the more deluxe versions of the DC icons, as we were looking at Deluxe DC Icons Batgirl, along with her Bat Cycle. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more Toy Spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.